Welcome everyone to the PJ's Cast. I'm your host Pierce, alongside of my good pal Dylan, and we're back for the best part of the sports calendar. Football's been going on for a few weeks now. Bears beat the Cowboys yesterday. I saw the Bengals got destroyed by the Vikings, and I'm pretty sure Joe Burrow is out for like most of the year. But hey, at least my Blue Jays have clinched the AL East, so we're in the thick of things for sports. And also the Blackhawks play a preseason game tomorrow, and they have their first regular season game in 2 weeks. And I believe you're going to that game, right? It's an early game in Florida.
Potentially going to it, yeah. Just depends on how my work schedule goes. But yeah, they had 2 weeks till first regular season game, first preseason games tomorrow. Training camp's been underway for a couple days now, and they've been doing some scrimmages and stuff, and we're seeing kind of what Blashill wants to do with the lines. So, hockey season's in full swing now.
Made them bag skate too, which was interesting, but at least it's different. You got because I felt like there wasn't much of that the last couple of years, so Blashill's definitely coming in and trying to make his mark. I remember the interview we did with Ben Pope. I think we're going to be hearing a lot of winning habits this season.
Definitely, yeah. And, what better way to start than in the first training camp, which we talked about time and time again. This team doesn't get off to the right foot in October. So, maybe shaking up what you do in training camp can fix that, potentially.
And ultimately, preseason means nothing, especially for good teams. But again, you really should just listen to the Ben Pope interview. The Blackhawks do need to have at least a decent regular season because they just got curb stomped last preseason. I think they only won one preseason game, and I think it was their last game in Milwaukee. In October, I feel like they haven't been bad. I was kind of doing a little bit of research because I feel like I often go in blind into these podcasts these last couple of years. So I want to be like, I want to be a little more prepared. Usually in October, they start off decently. The 23-24, I believe they got off to a 5-7-1 start. And again, if you're not a fan of the Blackhawks and you're a fan of a good team, you're thinking like, well, that's not that great. But for the Blackhawks, guess what? That's on pace for a 30-win season. And same thing with last year. I remember they had this road trip where I think they played in LA. They played in Hamilton. Remember the game where they were down 3-1 to LA, and then they came back and won the shootout in the final minutes, and they just beat Anaheim, like the one good team they've had success. I think they beat Colorado. I can't quite remember, but they had a decent road trip. And like early November, I'm like, okay, Blackhawks clearly aren't going to make the playoffs, but hey, maybe they can have a 31 season. That's just going to be the bar. I'm going to say that every episode. And then they just completely 18-wheeler off the cliff. There's not even a dream of like, oh, we can go to the New Year's and maybe they're still a competitive team. No, but like before American Thanksgiving, the 18-wheeler has fallen off the cliff. So yeah, first like 13, 15 games, they're perfectly fine. But then after that,
yeah. And, that's been the case pre-COVID, basically. So, that's not something that's foreign to this team. It's been around for multiple regimes, multiple coaches. And I think that just comes from, for being honest, not having a championship mentality in the room. Obviously, even when they were good, they used to not get off to the hottest starts and start the regular season. But like you said, that time when they fall off a cliff, that's usually when they start to pick up steam. And I think it just comes down to talent. A lot of the times, a couple times it was health, but I'm not going to chalk everything up to injuries. So, yeah, like you said, you need to see some substantial growth. And, this is going to be the first season Kyle Davison really straps his rocket to his prospect pool. And, they're giving the team every chance. From what we've heard, Grizzlick's not going to make this team if the kids are ready to rock. So to do with that what you will. Like I think you mentioned a couple nights ago, he only had like 40 points last year.
1 goal, 39 assists, I believe.
It's a lot of assists.
Which would have been third on the team, by the way.
Yep. But you gotta bet on your kids that you've spent all this draft capital on, and this should be the first season we get to see a lot of that. And it's interesting to hear the lines that are doing well in camp. The line that's getting a lot of attention right now is the Moore, Green, and Reichel line. If Ryan Green keeps putting up goals like that in actual non-scrimmages, you're going to have a conversation. And there's a lot of veterans in that bottom six, and there's only so many spots you can have. And yeah, the kids can't play every night, but best case scenario is you want Kyle Davidson to have to make some decisions about his veterans before opening night. Maybe that's a world that happens. Maybe it's not, but that's what he's hoping for. And this is the first season he could say that since he's taken over as GM.
Not only have they invested a lot of prospect capital, now they're investing actual money into these prospects, and there actually is some Blackhawks transactional news we can talk about. Again, going back to the Ben Pope interview, we were able to talk about the Frank Nazar contract. I don't know if you have anything further to add to it, but I just think with that contract, it's such a good bet. I think worst case scenario, it's just a good contract.
I didn't think they were going to get a long-term deal like that done, especially with someone who's only played 25 games or 50 games or something, less than 60,
games, I believe. Yeah.
But both sides are betting on it. The way they see it, he's their 2C going forward. He has chemistry with Bedard. He was their best player post Four Nations, which I like. Yeah, it's the garbage time of the year for bad teams, but that does mean something when he's the.
It's not nothing on a team with Bedard. Yeah.
Yeah, driving force on the team, and he wasn't playing with Bedard. That was when he was running his own line. So I think he's going to be a very interesting player going forward for sure. And then the contract, it's going to work out either way, I think. With the way the cap's going, you're going to have a situation where, maybe that's your 3C, but the cap probably will allow a $6.6 million contract to be your 3C. So it's definitely going to a lot to something you got to watch over probably like a 3-year trajectory, but you might see dividends of that in the first year of this extension before it even kicks in, for being honest, because that doesn't kick in until the year.
At this very moment, I don't think he's quite a $6.5 million player, but definitely a couple months in, he could very much be worth that. And kind of going back to the starting off the season, that just seems like these last 3 years since Kyle Davidson has made a stamp on this team and tearing it down and rebuilding again, good, decent October, and then it just falls off the cliff in November. 21-22, they were just horrible right from the start. I was looking at it, the stats from the 2021 team. I know, again, they were a losing team and didn't end up going anywhere. I would like to see this Blackhawks team play like that 2021 team. Yeah, they weren't very good, but they were very competitive for most of the nights. And obviously towards the end of the season, I think they had Tampa in their division and Carolina and Nashville. That eventually came too much for them to handle. But obviously on that team, you had Patrick Kane, Alex DeBrincat. You kind of can see Connor Bedard and Frank Nazar being that. And someone like Brandon Hagel got opportunities. That's where he really established himself as a regular NHL player. And granted, these defensemen haven't really panned out. Adam Boqvist had a decent season as well, and Nicholas Beaudin. You're obviously hoping, they have more talented young defensemen than that now, and you're hoping that they will project more than Boqvist or Beaudin, and I think they will. I would love this team to play similar to 2021. And I really think if they just kept Colleton and they kept in that direction of, we're just going to rebuild, retool, whatever you want to call it, it would have been better than the alternative. But anyways, needless to say, I'd had decent expectation last year, but I'm just coming into this camp being coming into the season being they're going to finish at the bottom of the barrel again, and they're probably going to drop down the lottery and get 3rd or 4th overall.
You need to just get into that boy nice mindset with the Blackhawks, which is
hype moments and aura. Let's go.
Kind of like what I do with the White Sox. That's what the Blackhawks are slowly turning into.
Colson Montgomery, let's go.
Exactly. Until they prove otherwise. I mean, obviously, if they start being competitive, then awesome. We can start talking about this podcast for the first time of a competitive Blackhawk team, but I just don't think that's the year. It would have to take a lot of these guys stepping up, and Nazar is the start of it. We haven't talked about it yet. The other guy who got extended, Spencer Knight, he's probably the biggest reason if they're going to be competitive. It'd be him. He shows
X factor for sure, like we said.
100%. If he's a 9-12, 9-15 goalie, they're probably winning more than they're losing. at least when he's in net. And Soderblom, if he could just find the happy medium, not be 80. Yeah, exactly. You just need a couple of these kids to step up, and I think Nazar's money in the bank for 50 points this year. I think he's going to take that Schmaltz to Brinkett jump that they did in like 17-18, if anyone remembers. Like you said, Hagel kind of had that jump too as well the year after.
Like half a point per game, yeah. You're hoping
half
a
little more.
Yeah,
he's going to get a lot more power play time. They play him with Bedard 3-on-3. That's going to lead to points. If he and Renzel can be legitimate point contributors, and Donato doesn't take a 20-goal drop off, could lead to some good stuff. And I think Bertuzzi would be the first to tell you that wasn't the best season he had. He
still was 23 goals, 23 assists. Like he still ended up being exactly what you thought he would be. Like maybe best case scenario, he's a 30-30 guy, but he's more closer to like 20-20 or 20-25.
He's a streaky player. That's what he always has been at the end of the day, even when he was having his best years. But they're going to have lineup options for sure. But the key to the team is the youth. They're like the season doesn't bank on Andre Burakovsky, if you know what I mean.
No, and nor should it.
If it does, we're in big trouble.
But that's also another guy who can have a bounce back season. Again, that's a guy who could be a 20-20 guy or 25-25 guy, best case scenario. Like he's had those kind of seasons before. Really, it's just been a matter of health, and he's played with elite centers. Like I don't know, I don't think Nathan McKinnon was his number one line mate in Colorado. I think it was Kadri, but I'm pretty sure he still played a decent amount of time with McKinnon, is familiar with him, and also played with either Backstrom or Kuznetsov in Washington. So it's not like uncharted territories that he's played with good centers. And I think I was looking at this in Seattle, his most common line mate was Chandler Stevenson, and he didn't do too well, and he did better with someone like Shane Wright. So you got a team with two elite young centers. Hopefully Burakovsky can stay healthy and bounce back offensively. I think he'll fit into this team with his speed and size.
Oh, very well. You put him with either of the three young centers that should be on this team. I mean, you put him with Bedard, obviously, and that's probably what they're going to do out the gate.
Yeah,
I can definitely see him having chemistry with Nazar. And I can also see him being on a speed line with Moore and Reichel or Moore and Mikheyev or something.
That would be fun.
Nature. Like they have a lot of options to inject speed into this lineup one way or another. That's why that Moore line really intrigues me. Like if he makes the team out of camp, even if it's the fourth line, you make Dickinson's line the third line shutdown line, that fourth line's going to get like – think of what Reichel, the opportunities he had with like Craig Smith and Pat Maroon on his wings. Just make that a speed line. And then watch what happens. I think Blashill can get creative with this team for sure. And Burakovsky's one of the reasons he can, because that speed can get interjected to practically any line in the lineup. I just don't think he'll play with like Dickinson, obviously. I mean, Teravainen played with him for God's sake last year. So, but Teravainen, I guess, does have a little bit more of a defensive game to him.
And that kind of like makes me want to ask the question, like for both of us, really, what makes you optimistic about this team? And you bringing up the speed is they have a lot more team speed than last year. Lucas Reichel is not going to be playing with Pat Maroon and Craig Smith. You're hopefully, if Oliver Moore makes the team, you're going to have, he might be the fastest player in that lineup. And Frank Nazar obviously is very fast. You're just going to have a lot more speed in your lineup this year, not a bunch of old slow guys.
And from everything we're hearing, it's not just fans saying it. The reporters are starting to say it. Bedard's got an extra step in his game, at least in camp. That matters.
Got to see it still. But, yeah, I believe he's definitely been working on it for sure.
I mean, even if he's a half step faster, that matters so much for his game because speed's not his strong suit. And if he gets that extra half step on the defenseman in transition, the amount of space that can open up for his shot is – it really makes you interested because if his speed goes up, his shot's he's gonna score more goals. He's gonna get more space. It's not gonna be something to where they can kind of close him off, on one of the wings or something like that.
For X factors, I think Spencer Knight is a huge factor because I feel we all know Connor Bedard and Frank Nazar are going to have good years, and it's nice to finally go into a season. It isn't just Connor Bedard you have Frank Nazar as a center behind him. Maybe even for a few games, they can put him on the first line if they're going through a bit of a offensive dry spell. And on the defense, it seems like a foregone conclusion that Sam Renzel is not only going to make the team, but play top pairing minutes potentially with Alex Vlasic. I honestly haven't paid too much attention to the Lions, especially the defensive pairings, because I feel that's just going to be switched so much. But Sam Renzel, I feel, is going to be a big part of this team, but there's definitely wild cards. Like, I don't think it's a guarantee that Artem Levshunov is going to make the team. He might spend a little bit in Rockford, and just that whole left side besides Alex Vlasic, who's going to make it? Is it going to be Ethan Del Mastro? Is it going to be Wyatt Kaiser, who signed a new contract just in time before camp? Is it going to be Kevin Korchinski, or does he need another year in Rockford? Could it be Nolan Allen? And you also have Matt Grzelcyk in the fold. So, yeah. I just wonder, like, who's going to be the X factor. And another guy, again, we talked about maybe the biggest X factor in this entire organization, Nick Lardis. I think he's going to start off the year in the AHL, but if he has a Frank Nazar type spot, and again, if this team is going through offensive troubles, like I think they will, there's a good chance he's up here by December or January after maybe 20 games in Rockford.
Yeah, I think injuries are what's going to let Lardis get his shot.
And that too.
It would have to take like a Tara Binding going down for a good bit of time or something, God forbid. I think that's when you make that decision, at least early on. I think post-trade deadline, he's on the team regardless. But I think the biggest X factor on the back end is Levshunov. Because
biggest wild card for sure.
If he makes the team, your right side is looking very good going into opening night. He's already shown chemistry with Kaiser. And I think Kaiser's making this team. You don't sign him to $1.7 million a year to send him to Rockford, in my opinion. I think it's that third left defenseman spot is up for grabs, and the third right defenseman spot's up for grabs. And if I had to put my money on it, it's probably going to be Del Mastro and Levshunov, but maybe Korchinski steals that spot, but I don't know. I saw Korchinski get manhandled by Aiden Thompson in a drill, so you might be in Rockford for another year doing stuff like that. But they're going to have options, which is good, but I feel like if Levshunov makes his team and he's even 25 points on the back end and can be not a hand grenade defensively, it opens up your right side a lot, takes a lot of pressure off Renzel, shows you the potential of what that right side could be. Because I think at their peak, it could be 250-point defensemen on that side. And
it'd be like Nashville in 2017 with Subban and Ellis.
Yep. In terms of offense, 100%. I think that's the goal or the dream of what you want that right side to turn
hopefully
into.
With a better forward core. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they got a better center, that's for sure. But yeah, I just think he's the biggest X factor. I think Renzel's going to have his ups and downs, but he's going to settle out and be like a 35, 40-point guy this year. If he's anything more than that, it's house money. But I think he's 40 points, playing quarterback one on the power play type thing. But if Levshunov can be that guy that can quarterback your PP2, play 18 minutes a night, like it's gonna add a lot to this team, and it's gonna. I think we talked about it all the time. They want to make this team lean on their back end. That's how they've built this roster. Like, yeah, they have Bedard, but they want this team to be able to lean on their defensemen the way Vegas can, the way all these great teams that have come up. Florida can. Florida had
Blackhawks 10 years ago.
There. Exactly. And I think if Levshunov can take that step this year, and we've seen it, like it's not out of the ordinary to happen. Like we've seen this guy take tremendous steps year after year in his development. To everyone's shock, like you look at him in October in Rockford last year compared to where he was with the Blackhawks at the end of last year. I don't think anyone would have expected him to even play games with the Blackhawks if you watched him in October the year before. So they're going to have options, and I really hope he makes the team. If not, there's no worries. They'll just keep Grzelcyk, and you can inner slot all of them. But man, it really helped this right side, and it'd make it a lot easier to potentially trade Connor Murphy down the line and give him a chance to play with a playoff team if that's what he wants, because obviously he has trade protection.
Yeah, he can do whatever he wants, and honestly, if he wants to stay in Chicago, that's awesome, but I also don't blame him if he wants to, actually go to a playoff team, because I think the only playoff action he's gotten was in the 2020 bubble. like we said with the
panorama
forward
backhand.
card. Yeah, that's right. Against Robin Letter, I'm pretty sure. Again, like there's no more Pat Maroons or Craig Smiths or whatever in the forward card. There's also no more Alec Martinez or TJ Brody's. I think it's good that they brought Grizzlick into the fold on a PTO, and he's actually an intriguing PTO option. I think I was reading a Pierre LeBrun article on The Athletic that he didn't really get the offers that he wanted to, and he was familiar with Mike Vellucci, who is one of the new assistant head coaches. I don't think we've talked much about the assistant coaches because obviously Jeff Blashill is the new head coach, but Mike Vellucci's there as well. And what really intrigues me is Michael Pekka is the assistant coach, a guy who's won a Selke before, and you just look at your centers, Bedard and Nazar. I don't think Bedard's ever going to be like Patrice Bergeron or Alex Barkov, but I think he could be a Jack Eichel where you're probably not getting Selke votes, but you obviously can put him up against a team's best players. Well, you hope to do that regardless with his offensive talent, but you also got to be able to play some defense. I think Frank Nazar is definitely someone who could maybe not win a Selke or even like get top 3 nominations for Selke, but like get some like 5th place votes or whatever. I forget where I was going to go next, but kind of wanted to talk more about Spencer Knight again. I wanted to do a little more research and do a little more advanced stats. I kind of want to talk a bit more about the contract.
Stats? Oh man,
yeah, rename me Google Boy because I'm going to be watching all the games on Google spreadsheets now. What did you think about the contract? It's 3 years, 5.833. I think Dustin Wolf signed his contract like a few days earlier. But it was definitely before the Spencer Knight contract. And I kind of jokingly texted you. I'm like, just think about like what kind of contract Spencer Knight can get when he's Dustin Wolf's age. And I think they're born like 5 days apart. They went in the 2019 draft. And yeah, like you didn't get quite the contract that Dustin Wolf did, but hey, you got a pay increase, 5.833, 3-year contract. Bit of a show me because Spencer Knight hasn't played a full season. Like this will be his first season, presumably, probably playing 50 games. But aside from not being a starting goalie, I think Spencer Knight has like the makeup of being a great goalie, not just like his frame aside, like being a 6'4" guy. I also just think mentally he has the right state of mind to be a starting goaltender and be a potential franchise goalie for this team.
Yeah, I think it's my whole thing is I'm not a fan of giving 8-year deals to goalies unless it's Andre Vasilevsky. Unless it's on Vasilevsky, that's quite literally the only goalie I'm giving 8 years to ever. Even when the Hawks were in their prime, I think they gave Crawford at most a 6-year deal.
6 years, yeah, which worked out pretty damn well.
Exactly. And with the way this is going to work out, he's still going to be an RFA after, and I'm pretty sure 3 years. So
no, he'll be a UFA at this point because I think he'll be 28. Yeah, this isn't kicked until next year, so he'll be 28, I believe, once his contract's up.
Okay, well, regardless, you have 3 years to figure out if he's the guy, and if he's, you have goalies in the prospect pool, it gives them time. There was a time a year ago where you were thinking you were going to have to speed run Camesso, and he definitely was not ready for that. It's in best case scenario, you have your franchise goalie and you just lock him up after that for the rest of his career as a Blackhawk. You're going to have options at the end of this, and the last thing you want to do is pay $7 million to a guy who's never started 50 games in a season. I think that's pretty fair. It's a fair bet for the Blackhawks, and I think it's an even fairer bet for Spencer Knight, a guy who, he's gone through a lot from almost coming back against the Lightning to, going through his personal stuff, obviously, and being traded from a Stanley Cup contender, and now finally having that opportunity to be a franchise goalie. So, I mean, people forget he got drafted, and a week later they signed Sergei Bobrovsky to a 7-year deal. People do not talk about that enough. You just don't see that often where they take a goalie round one who is coveted as, the best goalie of the draft. And, Spencer Knight, you heard about for 2 years because of that U.S. development team. So people knew about him and they still spent $10 million on a goalie. And, obviously it worked out. They got 2 cups, but he's going to get his chance finally. And I think he's in a position to where he's looking to prove a lot of people wrong. He's playing with a chip on his shoulder, and hopefully this young defense can kind of mold around him, because like I said, I feel like that's what they want the backbone of this team to be. And if you have a strong defense in front of Knight and he's able to see all of his shots, he's very technically sound. Like I said, he's the biggest X factor on the team. If he's lights out, they're going to win games they shouldn't win just because of him. If he could steal you a couple 2-1, 3-1 games, that goes a long way in the road to 30 wins. You know what I mean? But I like the deal for both sides. If you told me Nazar was going to get over double the term of Knight, I would have been a little shocked. But when you look at both contracts, it makes sense. They're both up and around the same time, age-wise too. So gives them both a chance to really cash out going into their 30s or betting on themselves because, the cap's going up. The market might shift to where it's the NHL. People just take their term and run. But, you look at sports like the NBA when the cap was going up like this every year. People like LeBron were taking 1-year deals. So it's like it could be a different market in 3 years. Could be a different market in 7 years. But you get your money now, which is all that matters.
Yeah, can't complain about $17.5 million necessarily. And you kind of brought up Andre Vasilevsky as a comp, and again, I was diving into the stats. So I went to naturalstattrick.com and filtered the last 20 games of the season when Spencer Knight joined the Blackhawks, and I filtered goalies across the league. I think it was like 500 minutes of time on ice on 5-on-5, and I just want to go through some of the stats that I found. So he was 10th in time on ice with 783 minutes. So this is from March 3rd till the end of the season. So like a month and a half, 20 games played for the team. He was middle of the road in save percentage, 14th with 911, and was middle of the road for goals saved above average, 1.72. Here's where it's really interesting to me. He does very well with shots in close. He was first in high danger save percentage, 918, which was first. Like over a full season, if he plays 50 games, it's not going to be that high just because it was more of a smaller sample size. So it looks like he's able to stop shots in close, and he was first in high dangers goals saved above average with 11. He was also second in closest average shot distance. So he dealt with a lot of shots, but he was third and furthest average goal distance. And I think that lines up basically with Andre Vasilevsky. If it's close, he's going to stop it. And if he sees it, he's going to stop it. But if there's traffic and it's shots from far out, might be a little bit of a trouble for him. But just looking over at those stats does give me optimism. If he's not getting screened, he's going to be a good goalie, at the very least an average goalie.
Yeah, he's very technically sound. That's always been the case with him. And from the short time we watched with him on the Blackhawks, that was very clear to me. He let it in the occasional snipe here or there, but every goalie's going to do that. I mean, it's the NHL. Occasionally a guy's going to pick a corner. Give anyone time and space. We've seen it time and time again. Unless you're Cody Ceci, you're probably going to get a decent chance.
No, only if it's not a game 7 though. If it's a game 7, probably. My
bad. You're right. My bad. But yeah, the high danger save stuff. He can be this team's Corey Crawford very easily. And that goes a long way to have that kind of stability on the back end or the in net. And it's not even elite stability. It's just starting quality stability. And that's really all they need. Obviously, if he's elite, awesome. I think no one's going to complain about that. But he can just be a starter. We'll be happy. At least I will.
Yeah. We were really so spoiled with Crawford because he was never Vezina great, but he was always top 10 great. He was always consistently above average, made the saves that he needed to make, and always showed up in the big games.
Oh, yeah. Just nails in the playoffs. You just love to see it.
And
even
also,
when the offense doesn't show up. Yeah,
and I still love with Corey Crawford. He went out on his own terms. His second last game was him stopping 40 something shots against Vegas and only letting in 1 goal. Always love that. But yeah, Spencer Knight. I think with the whole offseason of working with Jimmy Waite, I'm really looking forward to see him over a full year.
Yeah, me too. Especially with Jimmy Waite.
I don't know if you watched the Blackhawks prospect scrimmage. I didn't really watch it, but I did catch some of the highlights. And again, just definitely reaffirms like Sam Renzel is so ready for the NHL. Like he looked like a man among boys out there. Artem Levshunov definitely chaotic, but mostly in a good way. And Oliver Moore's speed just really stood out in that prospect tournament. I don't know if you have any other notes, if you watched it at all or caught any of the highlights.
Sorry, what?
With the prospect scrimmage, I don't know if you had.
Oh no, I caught half of the game. I wasn't really intently watching.
Yeah,
football was on, but
football.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot you can take from the prospect tournament. All I heard was that Renzel was the best player on the ice by a mile, had the best assists of the tournament. Moore and Lardis, I heard, had strong games, obviously connected on the overtime winner.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of what you want to see, if I'm being honest, out of your, top prospects in that game. Good little bit of a momentum going into training camp and, starting to build some chemistry with some of the kids for sure.
I don't know if there's anything more to touch on about the Blackhawks. Like, obviously, as preseason games come in and once the regular season starts, we'll have more to go off of. But I don't know if you have any more closing thoughts on the Blackhawks, or we can move on to some more wider, broader NHL news.
I'm good on the Hawks. We'll see. Get on the ice and play some games. We're ready to see.
Your season, your shot. The NFL season is rolling, and every touchdown can bring you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. From first touchdown score to anytime TD props or the thrill of live in-action game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. This upcoming Thursday game between the Seattle Seahawks and Arizona Cardinals features minus 105 moneyline odds for the Seahawks and minus 115 moneyline odds for the Cardinals. New customers, this one is for you. You bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, score over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first $5 bet. Plus, over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Just a reminder that odds are subject to change. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Fees may apply in Illinois. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new customers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Tickets/terms. Limited time offer. So it seems like there's a lot up in the air right now. You kind of talked about earlier of players potentially going to taking short-term contracts being more like the NBA, and I wonder if this is maybe the year where things start to change because Connor McDavid hasn't signed a contract yet, and there's rumors that he might take like a short-term contract, but we've heard everything. He might sign between 2 or 8 years. I just always think of the Mike Matheson thing. We originally wanted to do 2 years. 4 years, sure, we can do that. 6 years now, let's go 8. Make him a Panther for life. Kirill Kaprizov hasn't signed either, and no, I think this will get done. I think Jack Eichel will extend in Vegas. I think that's the most likely. And also, like, could Sidney Crosby be traded? I don't know. But where do you want to start off with that? Do you want to start off with the best player in the world not being signed yet?
Yeah, I can't believe Kaiser wasn't signed till like 2 weeks ago either. It's so crazy. But
that's good. That's
good. Yeah, sure. We can talk about it. He could talk about how he did an interview where he basically pulled a Mitch Marner and was like, yeah, I'm really excited for the 25-26 season. Not giving you any commitment. And I'm starting to think this is a player that realizes his worth.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. Because I don't give a shit what anyone says about making back-to-back cup finals. He got further away last year. and the team
No
is
one.
not getting closer. Yeah, haven't won, and they're not getting closer. And he has the potential to slot into a lineup that is begging for a 1C, or maybe has a 1C and is going to move him out so they can get him. And completely revamp it. You look at players who've done it time and time again. I mean, hell, the number 2 pick in his class did it. So that has to mean something. The number 4 pick in his class might do it this year too, in terms of winning a cup after doing it.
Both in Vegas.
Matthew Tkachuk did it. Just the new president. Yeah, sometimes it turns into John Tavares where you don't win a cup for 7 years with the team, but there's going to be 31 teams looking to sign him if he even gets close to that. And how do you make the money work? How? And you're going to look back on this, and the more you think about the fact that he might not be there anymore, you just look back and think, and you have to look in context, obviously, because 2018 is a lot different than 2025 in terms of the salary cap. So when Draisaitl and McDavid are making that $21 million, I want to say, combined, that was a lot. And people were like, oh, that's pretty steep. Looking back on it, you could have made it work. You could have made something shake. This is years of failure by multiple regimes. The Oilers have no one to blame but themselves in terms of ownership. Blame all the GMs you want. Blame Stan Bowman. I can't believe I'm going to defend the idiot, but you can blame Stan Bowman all you want. He got here as the life preserver to potentially save him. And he has none. He gave Trent Frederick an 8-year deal, and he bridged to Bouchard. Congrats. And he paid Draisaitl like $6 million more than he was getting paid. I would take the deal too.
But
I'm not saying he's not, but it's just the toughest decisions now. And from every sound of it, McDavid doesn't need to sign anytime soon, but I promise you, if he's not signed by the Olympics, it's going to be a scary time. Because we saw with Marner last year with the Four Nations.
Yeah.
He went there and started asking. His wife started asking too. This is how the league works. He's going to be in a locker room with Colorado in his ear, with Toronto in his ear,
Florida,
Vegas, Florida, Dallas. The names go on and on and on. He's going to get to hear all these different perspectives on where he could go. And my brain immediately goes to somewhere like the Rangers, and he just slots himself right in. And the Rangers are a better team on paper than the Oilers, even with the tremendous losses they've had over the last couple of years.
They have a goalie and a defense, so
exactly. They have the one thing he's never had in his career, which is a goalie. I don't know, man. The more time goes by, the more I think Connor McDavid's walking on July 1st, and we're going to have the stupidest free agency because his agent's going to come out and say, well, he's going to take 4 to 5 days to sign, guys. We're not going to the cottages yet. No, but seriously, it's setting up to be the biggest free agent in NHL history. And it's crazy because the Oilers have gotten very close the last 2 years, but you just look at some of the decisions they made. Exactly. You look at some of the decisions they made, and McDavid's probably just sitting there years of watching this team just fumble draft picks, fumble trades, fumble getting him a goalie, fumble getting him a winger, for God's sake. They got a Milan Lucic. Anyone with a brain could have saw him falling off a cliff at some point in that 7-year deal. I don't know. I find it in my head, I find it very hard to see him re-signing, especially when his line mates at camp are Mangiapane and Philip Tomaszek.
Not even Ike Howe? That's crazy.
Not even Ike Howe. Maybe Ike Howe's with Leo Dry. I have no fucking idea. Jesus. Yeah, not looking good, though. Pretty grim in Edmonton. No Ben.
The thing is with the Oilers, I still think they're going to be fine this year. I think there is a bit of a more of a boomer bust aspect to them because of they've definitely made their team younger. Whether that's made them better, I don't know. That remains to be seen. But
Blackhawks made their
even
team
if you
once
think,
upon a time.
Yeah, and even if those wingers do make them better, your goaltenders are still Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard. And I've said this so many times, like, goalies, you can just shuffle them around until you find a goalie that works for you. Colorado did it last year, completely remade their goaltending. Now they have Blackwood and Wedgwood, and they were like above average goalies for them. And that's the thing with the Oilers. It's never been surround them with like the absolute best elite talent, whether that's goaltending, defense, or forwards. It's just get them some decent help. And yeah, it's a decade plus of incompetence from multiple regimes. And I really did think like Connor McDavid, the other okay Connor at hockey, I guess, would sign, just because the NHL is boring, and usually that's what they do. And Connor McDavid will just like subject himself to more torture, a little bit of a Stockholm syndrome, where he signs an 8-year extension and just continues to be miserable. Edmonton come close but not get it done. But yeah, I think it's a good thing that a player like Connor McDavid's level is realizing, oh, I have all the power here. I don't have to sign and play for this team. Like, I still think this team could make the Stanley Cup Finals for a third year in a row, but I just, as long as they have those goaltending, I don't think they're going to get the extra step. And I almost think like Connor McDavid is just like, he's not signing because the goaltending hasn't switched. That's what I think. Like, money is never going to be an issue, and same with term. Like, he can get whatever he wants wherever he wants to go. Like, teams should break the CBA to sign Connor McDavid. I remember, I think it was 2010 when Lou Lamoriello acquired Ilya Kovalchuk from Atlanta. That's how long ago that was for the Devils. He offered him a 17-year contract and broke CBA rules. Like, I think teams are going to try to do that if Connor McDavid reaches the open market, and I feel it's going to have a domino effect. If Connor McDavid goes to the open market, I think a Kirill Kaprizov is going to go to the open market. But if McDavid inevitably ends up extending, then I think Kirill Kaprizov is going to extend as well. But right now, I'm kind of more in the middle ground. I think Bouchard signed a 4-year extension. I think McDavid's going to do the same. Like, sign me up as long as Bouchard, and if we can't then get a cup, I'm going to walk to free agency when I'm like 32, 33, and then cash in for one more big contract. 2-year contract, yeah,
2
I could
years.
see that too.
Taking him to 30. If he even signs. Every day goes by, the more I lean towards he's not signing. But
yeah, I definitely agree with that, because I was just like, again, he's going to sign and just be even more miserable. Yeah, but the more time goes on and we're getting in the training camp, and Stan Bowman was like, oh, we haven't even offered him a contract or really exchanged numbers. Yeah, the more and more likely that I feel like it is going to happen. And like, being in Edmonton, it'll suck. I want to see the Oilers win a cup, but also, again, just gross incompetency, and just being a hockey fan, it'd be so awesome to see a player of that caliber hit the open market, because we've never seen that before in the sport.
Never. And Connor, breaking news, you can get a heated driveway anywhere else. It's actually just living in the heat. It's a crazy concept, but a lot of people have started, going in on it. And here's the best part: they don't tax you. So, yeah, you might
not even need a heated driveway, and if you're in Vegas or Florida.
Exactly.
Probably won't.
Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah, like, if every team, all other 31 teams should look at signing Connor McDavid, obviously, if you make it to the open market. So should the Blackhawks. Yeah, again, just break the CBA, go to 10 years, give them like $25 million per dollar. Just let's break some records here. That's what you should do for a player of that talent.
Yeah, just someone's got to break the bank regardless for him. The money is not the point. The point is,
he wants to win.
What does Connor want? And I think Connor wants to win a Stanley Cup more than anything right now.
What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. I remember we did a podcast, I think 3 or 4 years ago, and I think it was early 2022. We had Julian McKenzie on. I remember talking about the Blackhawks are going to trade Taves and Kane, and he was like, "What?" And then they ended up. Well, Kane got traded a year later, and then Taves walked in free agency, even though he came back to play in Winnipeg. But another thing was we brought up what are the odds Connor McDavid gets traded, because I remember that was when they still had Dave Tippett as their head coach, and they weren't doing so well. And he got
Dave Tippett.
Yeah, that's how long ago that was. So maybe that'll finally come to fruition. Connor McDavid goes to the Rangers.
Yeah. I just seeing McDavid in any jersey is going to melt my brain. So just we'll wait for that day to come. Clearly, he's going to go to Montreal because Crosby's going to already be there, and then they'll get Kaprizov too. It'll be crazy.
Yeah.
They're going to trade Crosby for Kirby Dach straight up.
Oh, man. Let's go on to Kirill Kaprizov because he also hasn't signed, and supposedly he rejected a contract that would have made him not only the highest paid winger in NHL history, but just the highest paid player in NHL history regardless. First things first, do you think Kirill Kaprizov would be worth that money, 128 over 8? Would you pay him $16 million a year? My first thought is that's a lot of money for a winger.
You're going to hate my answer. For the Blackhawks?
Well, obviously, like, if the Blackhawks, absolutely, yes.
But no, but the Blackhawks are a team where it makes the most sense. Because at most, you're paying Bedard like 12 and a half. And everyone else is going to be under 10. It's the only kind of type of team that would make sense for that. Unless you're the Wild, and you will literally lose your whole franchise if you do that.
Oh, they would have to go into a rebuild immediately. And does Kirill Kaprizov has some kind of movement clause? I would guess he does.
I don't think so.
Oh, I'm going to look that up.
Because that was that first deal he signed right after his rookie year. I don't think maybe.
Yeah, he has a no movement clause this year, so he holds all the cards.
Minnesota. Maybe Mark Lazarus is actually just fucking Paul Atreides. We just didn't know. At least I know that picture. Holy shit.
They hated him because they rejected his message. Kirill Kaprizov is going to Chicago. Shut up!
Bro, he would fucking put the team over the top. He put any team over the top. I mean, I think it's... Here's my thing. I want to say it's more likely he gets the free agency than McDavid. But, yeah, I do want to say that because if he actually declined that deal, he doesn't want to be in Minnesota. Money's not the reason he's...
Or he just wants a fuck ton of money, and that would have been good enough for him.
I mean, Kovalchuk did it once upon a time, but I don't know, man. I think that sounds like someone who doesn't want to be there. If you're turning down that much money, you're having that much success there in terms of offensive production. Like, this is a guy who's been on pace for 100 points since COVID, basically.
Yeah, he's been a superstar ever since he's entered the NHL.
And he holds all the cards once again, has earned every right to. He's the only reason Minnesota makes the playoffs, period, any year. And they missed half the year last year. And clearly we saw the fall off of Minnesota when that happened. Minnesota was one of the best teams in the West before he got hurt. I mean, we've seen a player like this hit the market before. Panarin's done it. Panarin has never hit the point totals that this has happened.
They have the same agents.
Exactly. Same. Kaprizov's a little younger. Then when Panarin, he might be the same age as when Panarin hit.
No, I think they're the same age.
He's 28.
He'll be 28, and I think Panarin.
Yep,
he was either 27, about to turn 28.
Yeah, so this is like Panarin. Yeah. This is the modern day Panarin. And Panarin was not re-signing in Columbus. We knew that from the get-go. No. And Panarin turned down a lot of money to not sign in Columbus. And guess what? The money was there. Money was there from 3 different teams, clearly, when he signed with the Rangers. And he took less to sign with the Rangers. So when it comes to something like this, you're going to get a Scrooge McDuck amount of money. When you're getting $100 million, you might want to be happy when you're winning while you're making it. Like, because no money in the world is going to give you happiness. Like, I hate to break it to a lot of people. Yeah, some people, money might bring you happiness. I promise you, for a lot of people that make that much money, it doesn't bring them happiness. And it's because they don't do they're not. Johnny Gaudreau, God bless him, before he passed, was a perfect example, man. It wasn't about the money with Calgary. It wasn't about the money with. He wanted to be closer to family. He wanted to be closer to home. Kaprizov, like the places he's naming have big Russian footprints. Like it could be a cultural thing too. Want to be closer to people that you're comfortable with. Like there's no reason a shit ton of Russians used to go to Miami all the time and go to the Panthers. There's a reason a lot go to New York. There's a reason a good amount have gone to Chicago over the years. Like it matters, man. So it's like once again, it's a guy who holds all of his cards, and if it's such a pointing fingers game when that number leaked because like Guerin comes out the day after and Kaprizov talks about it, and no one's gonna say they did it, right? If you had to guess, it's probably an agent. You know, agent's gonna get their nut off this.
Yeah.
Shout out South Park, but God, there has to be some truth to that. And if he turned down that much money, there's something deeper than that, in my opinion. Something deeper than just the face value of the money.
Yeah, I just think it's another guy who realizes, oh, this team is not close to winning a Stanley Cup.
Nope. They don't have a number one center. They don't have a number two center. Actually, they do. Joel Eriksson next.
And any good centers, they like. I don't know. Like, obviously, Marco Rossi isn't the same level of player as Kirill Kaprizov, and I don't even think they play together that much. But I'm just like, what are the Wild trying to do? Because Marco Rossi, they were like, oh, we want to trade him. Actually, no, just kidding. We're going to keep him. I don't know. If I'm Kirill Kaprizov and I see that, and your best you can do for centers, Marco Rossi and Joel Eriksson, as much as I like them, they
in the really 5 years I've been there, like
never been past the first round.
They've drafted some great players. Matt Boldy, great. Like Brock Faber, they traded for him. Great trade. No center. His best center was Ryan Hartman, who's not even a center. Like these are legitimate problems with this roster construction, and it goes right back to Bill Guerin. Bill Guerin is no one to be mad at but himself if he loses Kirill Kaprizov. Just like the only person that has like the Oilers management can only be mad at themselves, and ownership can only be mad at themselves. This is all on Bill Guerin if they lose Kaprizov, in my opinion. You had 5 years to find a number one center, and newsflash, they were out there. Jack Eichel was definitely out there for the taking, and you did not make a move for him. Like, I know I'm missing a couple others, but that one immediately comes to mind because they were sniffing around him at one point. They didn't make a move. JT Miller. Elias Pettersson, like JT Miller is one of the ones that comes to mind immediately because he would be perfect.
New captain JT Miller.
Yeah, new captain JT Miller. How about that? Oh my gosh, I'm just thinking of all these players that have been traded, and it's just like you couldn't throw your name in the hat once. But don't worry, guys. They drafted Z Boyum, so they're going to be great. Like, I love not to bring it back to the Hawks, but I love the idea of building through the back end. Building through the back end doesn't matter if you can't score goals, especially down the middle. How many, I can't remember the last time I've seen a team win a Stanley Cup without at least two quality centers. You know what I mean? I'm not saying two number one centers, but like two second line centers, bare minimum. But every team since, God, I don't even know.
At least,
dude, probably since I'd probably even throw O'Reilly as a 1C. So like, it just hasn't happened. Like you need a 1C. You need a 1C to win the Stanley Cup. I think we've made this point time and time again. When Bedard and all these guys were coming around, like Barkov, Eichel, Point, Backstrom, like you name it, O'Reilly, Taves, Kopitar, like Crosby. I mean, like,
happy retirement, by the way, for Kopitar.
I thought you were about to say happy retirement for Crosby. I was going to start laughing. But yeah, hell of a career for
Kopitar. No, he needs to play Montreal first.
gonna have his final matchup versus Taves. That should be fun. But
yeah.
What was I going to say? It's just all these teams have had a 1C when they've won. And the common denominator with the Wild, with all these teams, they never have a 1C. And
they never have in their franchise history. Really.
I know you love Marco Rossi, and I think he's a great player too, but Anton Lundell
he's best suited for a 2C on a cup-winning team or contender at least.
I just think like if this team had Anton Lundell, we're probably looking at him a little different in terms of. I'm not saying Anton Lundell's a 1C, but he has the potential
another
to put up
quality
70
center.
plus points.
Not Ryan
And he can
Hartman.
play defense. And him and Erickson, that give you depth down the middle, which is the thing this team severely lacks. Like when the Blues won their cup, yeah, Ryan O'Reilly wasn't a world beater one seed, but he was a damn good defensive one. And then they had Braden Shen, and they had Tyler Bozak, and they had all these centers down the middle to help them. The Wild do not have that, even with this. They have no one to blame with themselves. I'm going in circles, but that's what it comes down to. And I can't get over it. If you turn down that much money, he doesn't want to be there. Plain and simple.
Yeah. And
this you have to trade him if that's the case. Sorry. Last point. You have
and
to
that would
trade
immediately and that would immediately put you into a rebuild. Like you're not going to be a good team if Kirill Kaprizov. Like you can't even keep up the mediocrity that Minnesota has done seemingly like throughout their history, because they've never been a bad team, but they have never ever been a good enough team to go on a deep playoff run. They have never won a game past the second round. They have not gone past the first round with Kirill Kaprizov in the 5 years that you've had him. And there's precedent in Minnesota Wild history of them losing a star winger. Marian Gaborik hit the market, and guess where he went? Went to the New York Rangers. Not saying that's going to happen with Kaprizov, but like exactly. But I would say just with Artemi Panarin having the same agent as Kirill Kaprizov, I think if Kaprizov does hit the open market, the Rangers are going to be a team. But if we're just looking, like if he clearly says he doesn't want to be in Minnesota, you got to trade him as quickly as you can. You're going to be a rebuilding team. You're going to have to get back futures. And
he controls all the power, though. He's got to know move. You got to ask him where he wants to go. And then the team that gets him, you better hope to God they have something to give. Like, the Blackhawks got so lucky that Florida gave him Spencer Knight, because they could have got taken to the fucking coals in a Seth Jones trade.
Oh, Bill Zito was being, like, for as good as a GM he is, like, I think that makes
that was a charity move.
That's what I mean. Like, I feel teams just love Bill Zito because, like, he doesn't ever outright fleece anyone, but he makes such good trades because he always gets the best player. Like Seth Jones, he could have just said "fuck off," take a third, and retain like $3 million on him. But it was like, no, we'll throw you a bone. We'll give you Spencer Knight in the first, and same with Brad Marchand. Like, they could have just been like, no, we want a third or fourth for Brad Marchand. But they're like, I'm pretty sure you can get a conditional first round pick if he plays in this amount of games, and we reach the conference final, which all that happens. So like, I think that's why Bill Zito is like universally respected. He makes so many good trades, but he's also not like actively fucking other GMs over.
Yeah, that is a good point. And Florida is a team that Kaprizov might want to go to before the deadline, and
that would break everyone. If he went to Florida. I don't even know what Florida would have to give, but also if he wants to go there, he's going to go there. So
yeah. And if he extends there, then I don't know what piece you get back. I'd imagine it's Lundell. But
they'd be lucky to get Lundell. Like, I'm thinking maybe Samoskevich. You'd be lucky enough to get
like it's salary cap at that point. Like, you got to make it work.
I guess so. Yeah, no, that is
Kaprizov's making 9.5, and if he extends, they got to get money off the books. Fuck, if you get Verhaeghe for him, you suck. You suck so much. Like, you suck so much. I already see it in my head. This is the worst. It's going to be Verhaeghe, Samoskevich, and like a 2029 first round pick, unprotected. Like,
okay, 2030. 2030 first as well.
But he has every right to do so. He's got to know move. So we'll see. But God, if he makes it to free agency, the Hawks should just give him that contract.
I think regardless, the Hawks should be monitoring Kirill Kaprizov again. So should 31 other teams. Like, and the thing is, again, if he wants to go to Chicago, like, I don't think the Blackhawks would have to give up as much as we're thinking. Like,
if he wants to go to Chicago, like, just let him go to free agency because he holds all the cards. If he wants to go to Chicago, he just doesn't get traded and walks like Tavares.
I guess so, but also like, if I had like a guaranteed shot at Kaprizov to get him in a trade, I would do that, opposed as maybe taking the risk of him going to free agency. But I feel like if we are constructing a trade, Kirill Kaprizov to Chicago, like, I don't think it's that much, but you're probably gonna have to give up an Anton Friendel or an Artem Levshunov. I don't think both, but like, Probably Anton Frendel and like, I don't know, Kevin Korchinski or one of their left-handed defensemen not named Alec Vlasic, because I just don't think you're trading Rinzel and Lev Shunov alongside Frendel, or you are trading Lev Shunov and then maybe you're giving them like Oliver Moore or something. Like, I don't think you're giving them two of your draft picks that have gone the top three the last couple of years. Like, I don't think it would be as much as we think it would be. But yeah, if it's open market, the Blackhawks can, like, Kirill Kaprizov can name his money, and the Blackhawks should be able to sign him to that. But yeah, if I'm given the option, like, oh, here's a trade, let's make it go through, let's give him 8 years, and he'll still be good throughout those 8 years, I'm doing it. And anyone being like, Kirill Kaprizov doesn't match the timeline of the Blackhawks. Artemi Panarin was a little older when he joined the Rangers, like, again, 27, 28. If you're signing him for 8 years, you're taking him till 35, 36. I think Kirill Kaprizov and Panarin are very similar, and Panarin has remained productive into his mid-30s, and I don't see any reason for Kaprizov to do that. You want to know who was like 10 years older than Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane when he signed Chicago? Marian Hossa. And Kirill Kaprizov is like 8 years older than Frank.
He would fit the Hossa part of the timeline, especially if the Hawks take a step this year. I think any free agency acquisition would fit that. But like you said, I feel like a high-scoring winger like that, it's very rare you see him fall off a cliff. Even you look at a Huberdeau, and Kaprizov is a completely different player than Huberdeau. Like, he is so dynamic with the puck. His speed. The only thing that's concerning with Kaprizov is injuries.
Yeah.
He has had injuries a lot. His health is a concern.
Only played 55 games this year.
He's worth the money, though. He's worth the money. Like, you can't – I won't hear an argument of why they shouldn't throw the money at him. For any team, honestly.
Yeah.
He could put any team over the top. Like, if he went to the Kraken, holy shit. Like – one of those centers is popping off on his wing. He'd be the best. Beniers would be the best center he's ever played with. And that's not saying a lot.
I feel the funny thing is, like, yeah, Beniers or Ryder. You can even argue Stevenson
or Catton.
Like or Jake O'Brien that is coming.
Yeah, all these centers, and they'll just throw Kaprizov in the mix. I'm just saying he can make any team better. So, it'd be funny if he went to like LA.
He would fit well. Oh my God, Byfield and Kaprizov. Nasty.
Like, all right, Kopitar era is over. Kaprizov era starts now. It's almost as good as the Carey Price era in San Jose.
Are you a good team? No, but we have hype moments in Aura and sleepovers.
And we try to rob teams of President's trophies.
What even is that? 2015.
They put up a billboard for something that they didn't win.
Yeah.
Or a banner, whatever.
Damn, at least the Predators, like, actually, like, whether how good it was, at least they actually put up for the right thing and not the wrong thing. You know, they're not robbing other people. They're not robbing the 2015 and 16 Washington Capitals.
Oh, God, because you definitely don't want to take anything from that team.
No. I don't know. Do you have anything more to add to the Kaprizov comment? Like, who do you think out of McDavid and Kaprizov is more likely to hit the market? Because I'm of the mind
Kaprizov.
Yeah, I definitely think he's the most likely to be traded. Like, McDavid's not getting traded. He's either
no, they'll walk McDavid to the grave.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but because you just don't want a Connor McDavid trade. I think you would get more credit from the fan base if you were trying to sign him to the last hour than to fucking throw in the towel after the Olympics, because that would be what it was. You'd end the Olympics and be like, well, we're trading him. So
after trading him to Vegas. No.
I don't know how you can explain that to the fan base. You know what I mean? No, I think you can explain a Kaprizov trade easier to the Wild than you could a McDavid trade to the Oilers.
I just think everyone's going to be waiting on Connor McDavid because I just think he holds the cards on account of being the best player in the NHL and he hasn't signed yet. I just think whether
I wouldn't sign till the best player in the world signs. He could revamp. Exactly. McDavid's going to revamp the market regardless of what he signs. He could sign 2 years, $17 million, for God's sake, and no one would bat an eye.
No. Do whatever he wants. He's Connor McDavid. Like, he could take 1 year deals and be like, yeah, that's fine. He could Or you could take 7 or 8 years and be like, yeah, that's fine. It's Connor McDavid.
Yeah, he can do whatever he wants. He's the best player in the world.
Jack Eichel. I think he's going to re-sign in Vegas. I just don't see him hitting the market. Like, out of these 3 big guys, I would even, like, we'll talk about Crosby potentially getting traded. I don't know how much you want to get into that, but I think out of all those 4 scenarios, I think Jack Eichel is, like, the most likely to stay with this team.
They just locked up Marner. There's no way they locked up Marner just to lose the 1C that got him a cup. Jack Eichel's a perfect fit in Vegas for everything they want to do. He's probably going to get like 13, 14 mil, and he's worth every penny.
Which, if I'm being honest, underpaid.
Just do it. Just do it. And then you have your core of him, Marner, Theodore. You have Hurdle for like 4 more years in there. Like, you got a really good core of players there going forward. And then you'll trade for Rasmus Anderson at the deadline. You'll get your right-handed defenseman. And they got Noah Hannafin for the next 5 years. And then they have Aiden Hill making like 6.5, but we just don't talk about that. It's a perfect fit for him. And if Eichel hits the market, he will be a New York Ranger. Not a doubt in my mind. Or Boston Bruin. I think that'd be fucking nuts.
Could you imagine?
And he goes home.
Not only that,
they could do it.
Like, oh, we're back again. Oh, we had to take a couple years off, but hey, now we got Jack Eichel and Jimmy Higgins.
He gets to play Buffalo 4 times a year. He gets to play with Pasternak and McAvoy. And Swayman.
Fuck.
It's another one of those guys where if he's not signed by the Olympics, you're playing a dangerous game. Because if he gets to get in McAvoy's ear, or Adam Fox's ear, or someone of that nature, Jacob Slavin, like
Carolina would be interesting as well.
There's a lot of really good teams that are on that Team USA, and I wouldn't want any of those at Jack Eichel's ear if he's not 100% sure he wants to sign in Vegas. So I get that deal done as soon as possible if I'm Vegas, but I think it gets done. I think it's a match made in heaven. Yeah. He loves it in Vegas. We talked about it earlier. When you're making that much money, you want to be happy while you do it. Don't break what's
don't
working great for you. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And we've seen the documentaries. The guy loves it in Vegas. He's got his chefs out there. Vegas. All that stuff. Yeah, come on now. He should stay in Vegas. Him and Marner, they're going to tear it up. I think they're on the same line in camp. It's going to be gross. I think Hurdle's on there. I think Hurdle's their 3C, which is disgusting. So, like, anyone can tell me Vegas isn't deep. They do that, and they have, like, Brandon Saad on the 4th line. I'm just like, yeah, Vegas is fine, guys. Or no, I think it's Brett Howden on the 4th line. But, dude, Vegas is going to be so good this year.
I think they're fine.
I hope Eichel extends because I want to see at least 7 years of him and Marner together. I think that combinate, like, just think of like what Marner did with Matthews. You know what I mean? Like, Matthews got 60 goals twice, almost got 70 once. It's not crazy. And Eichel's not even a big shooter, but it's not crazy to think he could get 50 next year. Or maybe Marner eclipses 40.
Yeah.
Maybe they both hit 40 this year. Yeah, like the Calgary line a couple years ago. You put Dorfe up there, it's just 120 goals across the board. Marner would have 100 assists if they did that.
I think both of them would.
Yeah. I don't know. I get really excited when I think about what this Vegas team could be. Like, yeah, losing Pietrangelo is huge, but oh man, they are deep.
Apparently he's trying to like work back in, and I don't know how it's going to work with the cap and the new rules of you have to ice a cap compliant team in the playoffs, but Vegas will probably find a way. You were talking about who's going to benefit the most, like Eichel and Marner playing together. Looking at their lines, I think Ivan Barbashev is going to benefit the most because right now it's Barbashev, Eichel, Marner. Gross. Second line is Billy Smith, William, Carlson, Mark Stone. Third line, Saad, Hurdle, Dorfev, and then fourth line. Oh no, Brett Howden, Clinton Sissons, and Eagles are.
Dude, they're good hockey. They're really good. They're really good. And I think the best part about because Eichel's already got ridiculous chemistry with Barbashev. We saw that from the Cup run. We've seen that with the last 2 years. But if I'm Bruce Cassidy, I'm like, all right, here's what we're going to do. Sits down, Ivan Barbashev. I want you to watch Matthew Nyes and Zach Hyman tape from the Leafs. This is what you're going to be doing. And we're going to get you 30 goals this year if you do that. And like Ivan Barbashev doesn't even have that crazy of a shot. I don't think he's ever had 30 goals, but when you have two playmakers like that on the ice, just get them that. Like Hyman banged in fucking 50 doing it. Like, Just get to the net. Like I kind of want them to get greedy and just put Hurdle on that line. And just let Hurdle go ballistic.
That would be their nuclear option if they're going through an offensive dry spell.
Yeah, and then you have Carlson and Smith together. Yeah. Like you just have the 2018 line with the chemistry with Stone.
The misfits.
Mark Stone is an afterthought on this team. That's scary.
Dude, they have 2 Selke caliber right wingers.
It's nuts. It's nuts. And then Eichel's he's pretty good defensively too.
Yeah.
They're so deep.
So it's Carlson. They're just I think you and I can agree, like, Florida is the team to beat. I have them 3-peating, but I think if there's a team to, like, to dethrone them, it's Vegas.
I mean, the last couple years, it's whoever wins that Vegas-Edmonton series goes from the West.
I think the West runs through Vegas and Edmonton.
Yeah, 100%. Unless Dallas wants to get their foot out of their ass, like, and, Colorado's, I think, the biggest wild card because if they can stay healthy, I mean, they're just –
yeah,
McKinnon's a wagon, but we'll see. Vegas is just they're so hard to not bet against. You know what I mean? Or they're just so hard to bet against.
The division.
Yeah, I would think so. They're like, you think LA or Edmonton's beating that? Not a chance. Calgary, I think, is going to take a step, but not that much of a step. Vancouver, maybe. I don't know.
No.
Filipino 60-point season? No.
Yeah, Vegas is good.
Yeah, they're amazing. And that's why Eichel's going to extend there for a lot of money.
Sidney Crosby, what do we think? I think he ultimately stays in Pittsburgh, but again, the Olympics is going to be like the ultimate, I guess, barometer, litmus test, whatever you want to call it, with a lot of these guys and making their decision, because Crosby's going to go to the Olympics and he's going to have Nathan McKinnon in his ear, potentially going to Colorado. Montreal, I think the only guy would be like maybe Nick Suzuki if he makes it, but yeah, there's going to be, again, like it's just going to be the main culprits. It's going to be Vegas, it's going to be Florida, it's going to be Colorado, maybe Tampa Bay getting in his ear, hey, come join us and come win a Stanley Cup, because that's clearly not happening in Pittsburgh. Like, they're the only team this offseason that was like, yeah, we're trying to get worse, we're trying to tank.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's so interesting to me because, like, yeah, you think Crosby wants to stay. And the reason Crosby wants to stay is because they haven't bottomed out. He has not been, like
they've never been bad.
Exactly. Since the beginning of his career, basically. Like, the first year they sucked with him. But, like, I look at Kane, like, right?
But he lived with Mario Lemieux.
Yeah. But, I look at like the 21-22 season with Kane. Like, if you would have told me, like, yeah, he's gonna want out in 18 months, I probably would have listened a little bit, but I'd be like, no, there's no way. Like, he's retiring a Blackhawk.
He wants to stay here, break franchise records, and maybe help usher in the new era.
Then the regime changes. The guy who wants you to be there, it's not necessarily that case anymore. Even with that, I think Kane would have stuck around if they didn't bottom out. They bottomed the fuck out. And it was because of what the GM did. Yeah. Crosby's never dealt with that in Pittsburgh. And I think if Crosby deals with that this year, and then he goes to the Olympics and he hears about Colorado, who's first in the Central, and they hear about Brad Marchand in Florida, who's killing it, and you hear Nick Suzuki, hey, we need a 2C in Montreal, that decision is going to get made for you, and Malkin's going to get traded at the deadline. I don't know.
They're not even going to resign for next year, and I feel like that's not being talked about enough. Like, they openly have said that, and I feel
they almost didn't resign him last time. It took Crosby literally pulling his fucking bullshit power to keep him. Yeah. He went to management. He's like, "Fuck you! You need to resign him." Like, that's basically what happened in essence. He basically just fucking whipped his dick on the table and said, "This is what we're doing, guys. Sorry, I run this franchise. I'm the reason you're not in Kansas City right now." And
oh my God, or Hamilton.
I mean, the league's going to rig it regardless for them to get McKenna. So
like I said, every 21 years, 1984 Lemieux, 2005 Crosby, 2026 Gavin McKenna. Brace yourself.
He's still so good, though. He's still so good. And if he got traded, he would immediately change the complexion of whatever team he went to. Like, I just think like if he went to Montreal to be the 2C, or Malkin goes there to be the 2C, like that changes the dynamic of Montreal.
Both?
Exactly. Crosby goes to Colorado, and he plays at McKinnon. Like, fuck. Colorado, I'm picking out of the West if that happens. Just because.
A determined Crosby with a chance. Like, he knows he has a chance to win a cup. Oh, no.
Exactly. Florida, it would just be like, you're going to lose money if you bet. Don't even try. He'll go to the cup and win Conn Smythe just because that's just what happens. I mean, there's so many spots that I think that if he win, it's break the world. Like, Toronto. Like, they need that winger to play with Matthews at the deadline. Imagine they get Sidney Crosby. Imagine they get Sidney Crosby to play with Matthews the first year without Marner in the playoffs. You get a guy who is just clutch as fuck in the playoffs. It changes the complexion of so many different teams if he gets traded. And that's why I feel like it might happen. But the only way it happens is if that team bottoms the fuck out. It's not going to happen if they're like last year and they're like 11th worst. Crosby's going to be like, well, I'm going to stick around. But if they're like where the Blackhawks are right now, which is not good, and they're losing a lot of games, and they're sitting at like 20 wins around January, yeah, questions are going to start being asked. And Penguins fans, we have been there before. The denial is very real until it becomes a reality.
I feel like the Hawks fans, like out of all the teams that won in the 2010s, we were the first to be like, oh, we got to deal with franchise icons leaving. And like, say what you will about Kyle Davidson, hey, he made the decision, whether you agree with it or not. Like, it was done.
He sent them where they wanted to go, though.
Yeah.
And I think that matters with this because if Crosby leaves, it's to where he wants to go. And that's why I keep coming back to a team like Colorado or a team like Montreal, a team that he grew up rooting for. You have the opportunity.
Need centers, need elite forward talent like that, because as far as I'm concerned, Crosby can play at least till 2030.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe Crosby signs a 5-year extension and they get Gavin McKenna. But the door starts to creep a little bit more open every time they lose this year. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It'll be very interesting to keep tabs on.
Absolutely. Yeah, again, just if we had this conversation, like there was these conversations as far back as a couple of years ago when Kyle Dubas did take over. And it's like, what's Crosby being traded? No, that's never going to happen. And people forget Malkin was almost let go. So, and they're going to let him go this time. Like, I wonder what his future is. He's going to retire. Maybe he goes elsewhere. But yeah, things are changing in Pittsburgh. And you kind of bring up the point of if Pittsburgh gets off to a slow start, like the likelihood of that happening is more likely. I think there's going to be a lot of teams like that this year who I think almost every team except for the Penguins wanted to get better this offseason. But I just think of a team like Nashville from last year had such a horrible start. How many teams come American Thanksgiving, early December, are going to be like, oh, we're not making the playoffs. Let's sell off and let's bottom out and get Gavin McKenna. Because I was honestly surprised there wasn't more like, oh, let's sell off for Gavin McKenna.
Too much parity. The cap's going up too much. Mm-hmm. People are believing in their guys more.
That is true. Reality. Like, there wasn't that at the 2022 draft when Connor Bedard was the first overall pick next year. Mm-hmm.
It was a flat cap. I think that matters a lot when it comes to tanking. Mm-hmm. Obviously 2015 it was Connor McDavid. So I think it also just depends.
Tank.
Like, I get the Gavin McKenna hype, but like I just can't buy into generational anymore. Like I can buy into like, you're gonna be really fucking good, but if he's like 2 points a game at Penn State, or like if he's better than Celebrini was as a freshman at BU, yeah, you might want to start trading some players. You know what I mean? But if it's the same level
I was gonna say, like, I feel like Celebrini never got the hype. Like, I feel he's exceeded all the hype he got because I feel, yeah,
and that fucker was a steal.
Like, if people knew you're getting a Macklin Celebrini type player, like if McKenna goes up into like more,
that's a hell of a player.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hell of a player. I'm not saying anything. saying there's nothing wrong with that. But franchise cornerstone is different than generational. The last generational player was Connor McDavid. And that's like, I love Bedard.
And then before that, Sidney Crosby, and I would put Ovechkin in there too.
Exactly. And then before that, it was probably like Lemieux. So it's been a long time. So
some would argue Lindros if he without the injuries.
Yeah, you could argue that. But that's the point. It doesn't come around often, and it has to really be warranted, I think. So we'll see this year if it's warranted. Because this can be his year where he did what Bedard did and put up like 70 and 70. But I think I'm just saying if he puts up like 50 assists and 25 goals at Penn State, yeah, like we need to fucking look out. But if he also puts up like 60 points at Penn State, we still need to look out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it seems like he's going to be the presumptive number one overall guy. Like, I don't know how much reading you've done into the draft class, but like to me, it's
him
like
and Keaton Bierhoff.
If we get to it, it's still so far out. Still so much could change. But what are the odds? It's kind of like last year where we're going to be bottom three again. What if we draft Matthew Schaefer? I wonder when we're going to start having. Oh, what if this team drafts Keaton Bierhoff? Oh no, we have another elite right-hand defenseman. You'll have to trade one of them, obviously. But
the only way that becomes a reality is if one of Levshunov or Renzel is not what you think they are, in my opinion. And if that's the case,
you trade them to Minnesota for Kaprizov. But
exactly, Ivar Stenberg or Ryan Rubrick, someone of that nature.
Rubrick. Okay, I see.
Rubrick's cube is going to be a Blackhawk. Get excited.
Let's go. Yeah, but it feels like there's a lot up in the air right now coming into the NHL season. I feel like not enough is being made of the Olympics. Like the Olympics, it's going to be the best Olympics we ever watch because I think we just right now we have the best like assembling of talent the NHL has ever had. Like we talked about generational talents. It feels like we have three separate generations, and it's unfortunate because we won't get to see Russia to play, but through fault, like nobody's fault of the Russian hockey players. But we're going to see, like, Team Canada might have Crosby, and then you have McKinnon, McDavid, and then potentially Celebrini or even Bedard. I don't think Bedard makes the team. I feel like they're just going to choose Celebrini over him, but I would hope that's a huge motivator for Connor Bedard. And you
just watch.
I would
when Andre Burakovsky's got 40 points in February, you'll see.
And just even looking at Team USA, I don't think he makes it, but Patrick Kane, I know, like he's going to do everything he can to try and make that U.S. Olympic team.
And then makes that team, and it's going to piss a lot of people off.
Oh yeah.
He's still good. Like he had almost 60 points last year. Like he's still a good player, and he's going to bring a tremendous amount of leadership to a young team that has not been in that kind of spotlight before.
He could be the captain. Who was the captain for USA last year? Like at the
they already announced it's Matthews. So yeah,
I guess so.
So they got a Shoker as the captain. So I'd like the guy who was one shit in his life to be on that team. But whatever, it's fine. No, I think he's got a good possibility though.
He's gonna do everything.
It depends on what they want. Like we've seen the Olympic team do this all the fucking time. Like people get added that you just don't expect to be added because they need character and grit and leadership. Add Patrick Kane if you're gonna do that.
Yeah, especially
all the kids grew up loving him. So it's just like you have your fucking idol on the team to go win gold. Go do it. Like Canada could do it with Crosby, except Crosby's still like elite. So
he'll be on the team. No, like ifs, ands, or but, and he'll be the captain.
Crosby should be 1C. Like fuck it. I mean, it'll be McDavid, but he should. Crosby's still top 6.
Oh, easy. Like, yeah, he's playing with McDavid or playing with McKinnon. McKinnon's on his way, and either regardless of what combination you put, he's gonna be fine.
He's playing with Samson Reinhart.
Not bad either. Like, oh no, an almost 60
that who he
goal
played with at
scorer.
the Four Nations?
Sorry,
I thought he played with Reinhart. I thought he played with Reinhart at the Four Nations.
No, I'm pretty sure he did. Like, I don't know if
they were changing the lines a lot. So, like McDavid was with like Point and Marner at one point.
Dude, I don't remember the lineups. I remember the lineups from the 2010 Canadian Olympic team better than any of that because it was Eric Stahl. because gold medal game, it was Eric Stahl, Sidney Crosby, Jerome McGinley, and then there was their shutdown line. It was Mike Richards, Jonathan Toews, and Rick Nash. And then their third line was, I think, Brendan Morrow, Corey Perry, and Ryan Getzlaf. Pretty good.
Dirty.
And then their parents were like Keith Doughty, Pronger, Boyle, and then like Niedermeyer, and I honestly forget, but it was pretty good. I want to see if I can like look it up.
So fucking gross. Oh my god.
Yeah, but they're old and they weren't able to do that again. Oh, they did that in 2014 too. Never mind.
They were so young. That team was younger than people realized too. That was like 20.
Hayes was even 22.
Yeah, Keith was like 24. Getzlaf was like 24. Doughty was like 23. Like these were young teams.
Oh, I completely missed the San Jose line. Marleau. Okay.
The heater.
So I have this pull up. Stoll, Crosby, again, got that right. Morrow gets up. Harry got that right. Completely forgot Marleau, Thornton, Heatley, and then Nash, Toews, Richards. Bergeron was their 13th forward. Their defensive pairings was Scott Niedermeyer, Pronger, Keith Doughty, Weber, and boy, I forgot Shea Weber as well. Just that little chestnut. And then their goaltending was Luongo, Brodeur, and Fleury, potentially like all. Well, Fleury might be a Hall of Famer as well. Like that's 3 Hall of Fame goalies right now. Far cry from what they have right now.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah, I'm pumped for the Olympics, though. I'm more pumped for the Olympics than – that's probably the thing I'm most pumped for in hockey this year. Like, the playoffs are always the playoffs, but, like, first time in over
something
a decade,
we haven't seen in 12 years. Something we haven't seen since Obama was in office.
Dude, I got in trouble in school because I was watching USA Canada on my fucking phone.
Meanwhile, in Canada, we watched the day off. Game. Pretty much. Well, we were like at school, but we didn't do anything. We just watched the games. And the nice thing was, since it was in Sochi, it was just like I think all the games were on at 8 a.m, and we could just basically. There'd be some days where we had half days, and we just spend the whole day watching hockey. It was so much fun.
Yeah, I just remember waking up real early to watch the game against Russia. That was fun.
Yeah, it's a fun time to be a hockey fan, really. Like every other couple of years, we're going to have either the Olympics or the Four Nation tournament, which is what they should have been doing all along. But hey, better late than never.
Yeah, better late than never.
Brought his name up earlier. Marc-Andre Fleury is going to be playing, I think, one more preseason game with the Penguins, and he's going to officially retire with them. So that's cool, I guess.
Yeah, he's playing that preseason game, and tickets are like $150 a pop. And I was like, yeah,
I think that's going to be a new trend. Team like a player that wasn't on your team for a while, but like a legend, like how Fleury was to Pittsburgh. Like even in the 3-4 months we had Fleury, I loved him. It was awesome having him. I think teams are going to do that more often. Like it wouldn't surprise me if there's a day in like a few years where Kane and Toews. How awesome would it be if like in like 5 years the Hawks are a good team again and like Toews and Kane come back retired and just sign a PTO to officially retire as Blackhawks? That would be like the storybook ending there.
I think they're going to do that regardless. I think they'll sign like the one-day contracts. But yeah, playing the game would be cool. Like I think there's a world where Kane plays this last year as a Hawk. It would take some reconciling at the front office to do it. But
I think they can do it.
I think it can be done. Toews, I find it a little harder.
Yeah.
Especially
Sorry, you go.
I was like, especially if Bedard's got the C or something, Be awkward.
Yeah, I think like we talked about Crosby like being able to play. Probably, I think we'll be able to play into his 40s, and we kind of talked about Kirill Kaprizov. Like I think he'll age well. He'll be able to play into his mid to late 30s. Like look at Patrick Kane, guy like had hip surgery. It's something that's like a very hard to come back
surfaced.
From.
Like just crazy.
And it's still like a 60-point guy, which is still very valuable. And I would love that on the Hawks, but. Yeah, at first I was not really open to Kane being back. I'm like, let's just move on and like build a new team. But the more and think about it, it would be nice to have Patrick Kane for one more year, even if he doesn't like play a full year, even if he's just back for PTO. Like, I feel we're going to see Patrick Kane back in the organization one way or another. What's
He's
so
going to
funny?
play with Nick Lardis next year on the third line with Sasha Boisvert.
Hell yeah.
It's like going to the league Anton Frondell. You get to play with Patrick Kane. You're going to give Patrick Kane the Kirby Doc treatment.
Speaking of which, I was kind of looking at this earlier. Regular season has started for a lot of European leagues. I was looking at Roman Kantarov has 6 points in 7 games and is apparently playing 1C for Metallurg Magnitogorsk, which is a very good sign because KHL teams normally don't play young players up that high in the lineup unless they're very skilled. They're in the business of winning and not developing. So I think that's a very good sign that Kantarov is playing up that high and apparently playing net front presence as well.
He's getting better and better every game in Metalburg. So definitely probably the most intriguing prospect in the pool right now in terms of –
It's him and Lardis, yeah. And they're both drafted like in the 2023 class. Like, I think that's you got Bedard in that draft class. You got Oliver Moore is going to be a regular NHL player. I think a middle 6 guy. But if Nick Lardis and Roman if they're even middle 6 guys, like this,
I think if one of them is a top 6 guy, that's a win.
Mm-hmm.
To win. And I think they both have potential to be that. And if both are that, that's awesome. That's like injecting a Schmaltz and DeBrincat into your lineup. You know what I mean? Like that adds such a level to the team. And especially with the way this team's going to be built, which is they have a lot of centers. They have a lot of guys where like think of a line if it was like Bedard, Frondell, and Kantarov. And then you can run Lardis with Nazar and whoever you want at second line lane. Or if only one of them hits, you have that opportunity to flex that position. It just gives you a lot of depth going forward. And if you had an extra hit on top of a Nazar, a Bedard, a Frondell, Moore's going to obviously be an NHL player. The depth of which that is, I'm still curious to see what. But he definitely has upside with his speed. So it'll be interesting to see. Like I think third line winger center. That's right where he's going to be.
Oliver Moore can be, I brought this up before, if he can be a Chandler Stevenson, absolute win, like a 50, 60 point guy, kind of Swiss Army knife.
Can't believe they put you on the team. That's so crazy.
Yo,
his comps peers. That's fucking wild. What a comp. He's elite.
I was also looking at Anton Frondell. He only has 1 point in 3 games against Super Raleigh still. Yeah, bust, bum. Not to overreact, but I wonder if because I think he's been playing third line ice time. I wonder if he maybe doesn't get promoted up in the lineup, and maybe I don't know if there's something in his contract where he'd be like, okay, mid-year, I'm not getting the ice time I deserve. Maybe I come over to Rockford and get guaranteed top 6 minutes because they would give that to him.
Yeah, I think he's gonna get the full year there though. Like you just gotta let it play out.
I feel if he was on any other team that wasn't promoted from the second league, he'd probably come over. But I almost feel like, I don't know if this is his thought process, but in my mind, I would be like, I want to finish what I started with this team. Like I got promoted with this team and I want to stay with them. And he gets to play with Victor Eklund too. Yeah,
and he's playing with Viggo Bjork, who's like one of the top 10 picks in this class. So if he starts getting chemistry with him,
they're definitely going to keep an eye on him.
Exactly.
Blackhawks.
Might be a guy that's on their radar. He's got crazy offensive upside, I think. He's William Nylander type in terms of just his elusiveness. I'm not going to say they're the same type of player, but like you can see a little bit of it in him, the way he sees the ice. Like maybe a little bit of Lucas Raymond, I guess is a better way to put it.
I would like either Raymond or Nylander, won't lie. If this is a truth circle.
Truth circle? No. No. Someone got the kill streak. Not the truth now.
I want to look this up. I don't know how much you know about the 2026 class. I definitely want to do more.
I know the top 15 is really good.
It is. It's definitely a good year to have another top end pick for the Blackhawks, like even more than.
And then he's going to get a third one at the draft again.
Probably. It would not surprise me in the slightest. Like, I don't think the Blackhawks like tip their hand like crazy like a Canucks Rangers do, but they do it subtly, and you usually have a good
I don't
idea.
know. They tip their hand pretty good with Levchnov.
Yeah, but they're not going to be like out like in the press being like, "Oh, we're to take Lev Shunov," but you know what I mean, right? Like it's a little more subtle, but you can tell. So I kind of want to.
It's not subtle enough. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's not like outright we want privacy, but like also you can kind of tell.
We want privacy.
So I want to go through Bob McKenzie's list, the top 16. Gavin McKenna is number 1. Keaton Bierhoff is number 2. Number 3, Ivor Stenberg. Number 4, Ryan Rubrick. Number 5, Ethan Belchitz. And
he's
then
like
we're kind of getting
he's huge.
Yeah. Well, I think Rubrick is big as well, isn't he? Like, yeah, he's 6'4", 215.
Rubrick's
and
cube
Belchitz
is number 1 on the big board.
And then Belchitz is 6'5", 227, and now kind of getting outside the top 5. I'm not too familiar. Tynan Lawrence playing for Muskegon. Speaking of teams that Kyle Davidson has kept tabs on before, that should be interesting as well. Ryan Lynn, right-hand defense, and I don't think they're gonna go after a profile like that. 5'11", right-handed shot. No, yeah, Vigo Bjork is at number 8, 5'9", 171. But I mean, hey, they like taking small forwards, and they'll have plenty of viewings of them. And then just a bunch of right-handed defensemen. Daxon Rudolph, Chase Reed.
Great year to get a power forward. Let's just put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they can sure use that. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's like a Rubric. I think a Rubric, like added to this prospect pool makes a giant difference. I think Rubric's got a way higher offensive upside than Belchitz. That's the only reason. Like Belchitz has a consistency issue that you're really betting on the intangibles with him. I think it's like a Caden. Like, listen, love. Caden
Is it kind of like Kirby Doc?
Yes. Just in terms of consistency, but he's got the tools. So, like, if you want to bet on the tools, you can. But I just think, Rubric's not 6'5", but he's like 6'2", and he's got a better shot. And he's got better vision, and it wouldn't surprise me if he's getting argued for second overall when the time. He's
also a late 2007 birthday, which is crazy.
You're younger than the Nintendo DS. You don't get to speak.
Bro, I think I mentioned this in a couple podcasts ago. Like, there's gonna be kids in this class that weren't alive when GTA 4 came out. There's gonna be kids that were like, and then next year, like, kids are gonna be born during the Obama administration, the first one. Crazy. But yeah, just like looking at Ryan Rubrick, him being a later birthday, almost kind of like a part of Martone thing where he might like be physically mature and not too far away from NHL play. So, yeah,
it'll be a fun draft to keep tabs on. I hope they're at the back half of the top 10, but
they'll get a top 10 pick, but probably a top 5 if we're still being honest.
If they don't get a top 10 pick, that'd be so sweet.
I mean, I wouldn't be complaining, that's for sure.
They'd be actually competent. Oh, that'd be exciting. Hopefully they don't waste it all on Seth Jones like they did last time. We're trading for Dougie Hamilton. Going full circle.
Would you, kind of going back to the earlier conversation with Kaprizov, would you trade this pick unprotected for Kirill Kaprizov? Especially like if you could get him in the lineup before the start of the season and you're...
Yeah, if you could before the start of the season, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I also am a firm believer of like if he wants to walk, let him walk.
Yeah.
And just pay him. And they don't give up anything. But
that's true. And
then you can add Rubric to the team and they'll have a year of the kids getting better and you just plomp a fucking 100-point player in. I don't know. I would do it, but also it's just tough. Like you would give up a top 5 pick probably, or maybe a top 10 pick. For Kaprizov, it's worth it, but like you could get that top 10 pick and still maybe get him. I don't know. It's like the mystery box thing.
Yeah.
I guess just do it. If you could get him before training camp, do it, but that's obviously just a crazy hypothetical.
That's what I made. Like if I get the guaranteed option, like I can make a trade and get Kaprizov and get him to sign that 8-year extension. Like I'm taking it, even if I have to give up a blue chip prospect.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, if he hits free agency, like, the Blackhawks can, like, spend the most on any team to get him. So,
Yeah, they really would be the
but,
one to
like,
spend the most.
this just goes back to the whole thing of I like how the Blackhawks have built their team. I like what Davidson has mainly like. I don't agree one for one with everything Davidson has done, but overall, I see the vision. It's just again, there's no there's no Ivan Demidov coming up, and that's the choice they made. They wanted to build through the back end out, and I respect that. Like, I think as a casual fan, you're like, oh, you would rather see Ivan Demidov than Artem Levshunov, but I think you and I, who like how many teams have had two right-handed defensemen in their lineup that they have drafted and won a cup? The last one I can think of is St. Louis with Pietrangelo and Parayko. Like that's what you're hoping for. You're hoping for Nashville with just a stacked top four that can hopefully get you the cup final and hopefully you build.
Except you already have a number one center. That's what makes it different.
You have a number one and number two center.
Yeah,
and not
your
Brian
lineup has
Johansson and Mike Fisher.
It's a completely different complexion. Like, yeah, top line winger, I think, puts the team over the top going forward for the future. So it makes 100% sense to put Kaprizov in. And if Davidson really does like his guys, yeah, trade that first. Bet on him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at the end of the day, if they suck with Kaprizov, there's bigger problems to address after that.
Yeah, I don't think like they wouldn't be a playoff team if they got Kaprizov, honestly, but I think they would be out of the bottom of the barrel team if they did get Kaprizov.
Oh yeah, they'd be like not competing for a wild card, but like the tier right under that, the Coyote tier, or the Minnesota Wild tier.
Yeah, everyone wants to be like,
let's go. That's what we've been waiting for.
Or even just what Utah did last year. Like I think they lost steam towards the end of the season, but they were a competitive team for the first few months. I would just like that regardless, to be honest, but I don't see that happening. Again, I'm just setting no expectations for this year. I would love to be surprised though.
Yeah, it's always great to go with no expectations and it's fun afterwards.
That was me with the Blue Jays this year. I'm like, best case scenario, maybe they're a wild card team. And like they had a bad start. Like 2 months in, they were below 500, and then they just took off. And now they have a chance at clinching the AL East and just the AL in general. So that's what I'm kind of open for this year. Maybe not at that level, but like again, 30 wins, and I'm happy. Like it could be having your cake and eating it too. This team could get 30 wins, and Kyle Davidson can probably still get a top 5 pick to put in this prospect pipeline.
It's crazy that you're that bad that you can have that type of an increase and still have a bottom 5 pick.
That's what I mean. It's such like a low bar. They had 23 wins in 23-24, and then they technically improved to 25 wins last year. Like it's so
you need substantial improvement.
I just again, if they don't, it's hard for me to not think they will at least increase a couple wins. But yeah, if we're back at like 25 wins again, like fuck,
we got some problems.
And we gotta like really question the process and maybe like
the process.
I don't think Davidson they clearly ownership loves Kyle Davidson. I don't think he's getting fired anytime soon, but I think there could be a reality.
Leash will start to tighten more and more and more. And like Ben Pope has said, like Scott Powers has said, this is kind of the last year he gets a pass because they're going to make a shit ton of money for the 100th season.
Which I hate, by the way, that like that's the excuse for not.
Oh, it's bullshit. But because you can only go so many years with bad ticket sales, and they got very lucky the last couple years. I don't think casual fans are going to be as patient with them when they start sucking even more than they have the last 3 years. Like you can only see the vision for so long for a lot of fans. So we'll see.
Until it just completely fades into nothing and these prospects aren't prospects anymore. Like I remain optimistic, and I do feel all in all the fan base is optimistic outside of like some meatball fans, because like people showed up to the games at the end of last year, like they know there's young players coming to help this team, but it's just like we always say, there's levels to this shit. There's still such a long way to go, and like they might just stick where they were last year again this year, and there might be a question of do we need to fire Kyle Davidson or find someone else to help lead this along, because there might be a day, like a few years, where they haven't gone anywhere and they get new management and then they take that step. And like, yeah, Kyle Davidson, like, he got fired, but he might have made the right draft picks and someone else just needed to push it along. I don't know, but we still got a whole season.
Kyle Davidson's going to be the Dale Talon of this regime. That's so crazy.
That's what I mean. Like, Dale, like, there was other GMs before. Like, Dale Talon didn't even draft guys like Duncan Keith and the 2003 draft where they got Seabrook and Crawford, and I think Buffalo was 2004. They got John Emerson that year too. Like, they had some incredible draft picks. My only thing with them is just you need an elite winger for Connor Bedard, and that might not even an elite winger, just like a good young talent, and that could happen this year just with Nick Lardis. Maybe Roman Kanserov comes over, maybe Anton Frindell, or like they're going to get more players on the way. It's just Connor Bedard needs his friend, needs his buddy, needs his line mate.
Well, his buddy's a plug right now on the back end, so you need him to get better friends. I'm just kidding. But
wow, okay.
I'm kidding. Korchinski's going to be the number one defenseman in 3 years after Davidson gets fired. Whoa! Just kidding.
Whoa!
But yeah, let's start playing games. I'm ready to see this team play hockey.
Me too. They play on my birthday. They play Vancouver. I hope they win on my birthday. That'd be cool.
Yeah, they kind of stink against Vancouver, though. So something's got to give.
They kind of stink against, like, what teams have they played?
Linden!
Here's a team they have played against Anaheim.
Florida. I'm just kidding. Yeah, Anaheim, they kind of do.
They've got a couple ones against Florida. Like, they haven't done horrible against Florida, I don't think.
They've played better against Florida and Colorado than they have against, like, Calgary. So there's that.
It's the
and
middling
Seattle.
Teams. For whatever reason, it's the middling teams they have trouble against. Like Vancouver, Seattle, they have struggled against Calgary. They've struggled against Minnesota. Like, again, they play up to their competition. Like, I think they play better against
Winnipeg than they do Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. Fuck, they play Dallas better, I think.
Jesus.
Another team, Pittsburgh. Again, it's an Eastern Conference team. Like, they don't, but they've had Pittsburgh's number for like 15 years now, I think.
Yeah, Crosby's he can't handle the red.
Can't handle the big games. And that's why he'll stay in Pittsburgh.
Can't handle the big games. Oh man,
Sidney Crosby notably cannot handle the big games. You cannot find any footage of him scoring any big goals anywhere.
Never, ever.
No,
I don't think he's got the clutch gene. There's no way.
No.
Shouldn't
be in the Hall of Fame. What do you think about JT Miller being named Rangers captain? That is very interesting, to say the least.
Adam Fox must be a really shitty leader. That's all I got from that. How bad does your room have to be to where the guy that came in 3 months ago is the captain?
I feel like that's just been an issue with them these last few years. Like, they've had a bit of a culture problem.
Oh, should take one out of San Jose's book. Maybe they should have a giant sleepover. Get it all out. Maybe they can bring back the vibes and be ooh babies or some shit. I don't know. I didn't read the Bible, but
I can't do this.
I just think it's a red flag when the guy who's been there 3 months is the captain. It's a red flag. Season's going to be a long season for the Rangers if that's the case. I mean, clearly they traded their captain last year, so.
They will be an interesting team to watch because they have goals of making the playoffs. I think they will, but I don't think it's a guaranteed thing. Like, I see them more. The Metropolitan's so wide open, they could easily win the division, I guess. If they were in any other division, I would question it. But, yeah. Guess we'll see how that plays out. I have questions about JT Miller being captain. Who knows? Maybe it just works out. I don't know if you have any closing thoughts. I do want to say a couple things before we end the podcast off, though.
Fire away.
So this is a couple weeks ago now, but I just want to say rest in peace to Ken Dryden, who we kind of make the joke a lot of, oh, this guy or like this GM marches to the beat of their own drum. But Ken Dryden was truly a guy who marched to the beat of his own drum. Like, he did whatever he wanted to. All-time great goalie. I would put him all the way up there with Patrick Waugh and Dominic Hasek. I'm just going to read some of the stats off. For one thing, again, did everything on how he wanted to do it. Only played in the 70s. Like, he quit as a 32-year-old, and he could have kept going. He was so good. So to put this in perspective, the Hawks lost a combined 57 games, regulation and overtime. Ken Dryden, over just a little under a decade, 8 seasons with the Montreal Canadiens, only lost 57 regulation games. And to boot, 46 shutouts, 224 goals against average, 922 save percentage, and not bad in the playoffs either. 80 wins in 112 playoff games, 240 goals against average, 915 save percentage. Just reading off some of his accolades. 1971 won the Conn Smythe before he was even eligible to win the Calder, which he won the next year in 1972. In the 70s, it was a bit different with the Vezina, because I think it was like the Jennings now, where it wasn't, we're going to vote for the best goalie. It was just, who let in the least amount of goals. So, but he still won that 5 times, 6 times Stanley Cup champion. Oh my goodness. And like, an incredibly smart person too. We usually don't associate intelligence with hockey players, but in 1973-74, he sat out the whole season because he wasn't satisfied with his contract and became a lawyer. And when he retired in 1979, like, I don't think it's a coincidence that those great Habs team, like, that was the last Habs dynasty. Like, those Habs were arguably the best hockey team, like NHL team ever. I don't think it's a coincidence that Montreal only won 2 Stanley Cups after that. I think it was 1986 and 1993, like, which is crazy. They've gone from Ken Dryden to Patrick Waugh, and then they got Carey Price, San Jose Shark legend, and
now they got Sam Vontenbo.
Yeah, who's might make Team Canada this year. He was on the Four Nations roster last year. Not only an incredible hockey player, just a great human being. I think, like, later into his life, he got involved in politics, worked in the Canadian government, and I think as he got older and older, he kind of started to shun hockey. Like, he was also wrote some books about CTE, and he like donated to Gary Bettman, and they didn't speak since after that. So that should tell you everything about Gary Bettman and the people that run this game. Like, not only just an incredible hockey player, but a guy who just like seemed like a great human being and got the game of hockey. It wasn't just like, I'm playing hockey. Like, he seemed to understand the issues outside of just the game itself, like the culture of hockey. Not only that, played in the Summit Series for Canada in 1972. One of the most, like, probably the most important hockey Canada has ever played in our history, just because of the social implications of it. But I'm rambling on. I don't know if you have any words for Ken Dryden. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he was on the broadcast for Miracle on Ice. Like, he's not only like Canadian hockey, like, he has some part in American hockey as well.
Yeah, he's a legend of the sport. I mean, obviously, like you said, on ice, one of the best goalies of all time. Just had such an impact on and off the ice for decades. You could probably speak to someone from every decade for the last 50 years. And that guy has impacted someone's life in the sport, which is amazing to think about. And, he was impacting up until the last couple years of his life, I feel like. And one of those guys that I don't think there's going to be a bad memory about him. And like you said, he brought some of the best success to the Canadians that they're ever going to see. So hell of a life, hell of a career, and rest in peace.
Yeah. Just to reiterate how, like, 74.3 winning percentage. So essentially, out of every 4 games the Habs played, they won with Ken Dryden in net. Again, 224 goals against average, 922 save percentage. Like, most goalies would dream to have a stat line like that in one season of their career. That's how good he was.
Oh, yeah.
And he also, I think he was like part of Maple Leafs ownership in the late 90s. Yeah. So he did it all, man.
Did everything you could do in the sport. So hell of a life.
Yeah, like when I want to grow up, I want to be Ken Dryden. And also, a rest in peace to another great goalie of the game, Bernie Parent. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, yeah. So I think it's only him, Mario Lemieux, and Sidney Crosby that have won Conn Smythes in back-to-back years. Did it with the Flyers in 1974 and 75. Also won the Vezinas that year. I think the same year, like the years that Ken Dryden didn't win. So like him and Dryden were just owning the 70s. Looks like
Beast mode.
But yeah, that's all I got. I know, like I think Bernie Parent died on me a couple of days ago, and I think he died yesterday, and I think Ken Dryden died like a couple of weeks ago. But I wanted to send respects to two legendary goaltenders.
As we should.
Mm-hmm. All right. We're almost at 2 hours here. We're running up the podcast. It was nice doing this with you again, Dylan. I don't know if you got any closing thoughts, or we can wrap this up.
We can wrap this out. Get the season popping.
Hell yeah. Preseason game tomorrow against Detroit, and then they like have like a 4-day break, and then they play 5 games. So been drawn out way too long, but sooner than you know it, we'll be at the regular season, and we will be bashing their heads in when they have another bad season. Or who knows? That's why I play the games. So for Pierce and Dylan, take it easy out. Don't forget to give us a 5-star rating on your preferred podcast platform, whatever that may be. If you're watching our face on YouTube, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, notification bell so you don't miss out on any new video podcast or any of the clips from the podcast. So yeah, take it easy, and we will talk another time.